At this week's Parsha, we're learning about this greatness and the specialty of Shabbos, Shabbat Kodesh, and how great it is that Moshe Rabbeinu tells us, even though it is the great important mitzvah to build the tabernacle, the Mishkan, and the Jews loved this idea because Moshe Rabbeinu told them, by building the tabernacle, this is the way will be the forgiveness for the golden calf, and God will be back with us, and so on and so forth. The excitement was great. Nevertheless, Hashem said, Shabbos, you rest. You don't do that. It makes the day so important. What's so important? Why is it so great? There's many explanations what Shabbos is. We're not going to give our class about Shabbos right now. Just wanted to share something very short. And this was a story. We know the Rebbe had, unfortunately, a heart attack in Tafshin Lamed Ches, Simchat Torah Lamed Ches, 1977, as we all know the story. After that, he was in his room for a while. So when he would talk to the crowd, the first time was like for 15 minutes, but it turned to be a half hour, then an hour more, but he spoke only from his room. He didn't come out to the crowd. Later, a few months later, he started coming out to the crowd, and he did Farbrengens downstairs. The first Farbrengen member was Yutet Kislev. I was there, it was beautiful. The first Farbrengen, the Rebbe came to the crowd. And then later it became more and more regular. But still, Shabbat, there was no Farbrengens. Instead of Shabbat, the Rebbe would Farbreng Motzei Shabbat, Saturday night. And the reason is because it was hard for him to talk after his massive heart attack. So talking through a microphone is self-understood much easier than talking on the Shabbat without microphones. So it was going on, instead of the Farbrengen being on Shabbat, it would be Saturday night, Motzei Shabbat. This was going on for a few years. I think even till 1980 it was going on. Eventually, in 1980 sometime, if I recall right, the Rebbe moved it back and he started doing the Farbrengens on Shabbos, not on Saturday night anymore. I remember we were in Montreal at that time, and we loved when the Farbrengens was Saturday night, because for Montreal, if it was Shabbos, we can't participate. But when it was Saturday night, we were able to listen to the Farbrengen here in Montreal, so we loved it. So we were not so happy, to say the least. We weren't so happy. I remember to try to write a letter to the Rebbe to continue Saturday night, because he wanted to be Saturday night. But the Rebbe was doing it on Shabbos. So one of the main doctors of the Rebbe, I think it was a doctor from Boston, I don't recall exactly, he asked the Rebbe why did he change it for Shabbos? If so many people want it to be Saturday night, and it's easier for the Rebbe, for sure it's easier because it's a microphone, and many more people will be able to listen because it can be worldwide if the Rebbe speaks Saturday night. Why did the Rebbe go back to Shabbos? And as you know, the Rebbe goes back, the Rebbe goes back. But as a doctor, he asked the Rebbe his opinion. Why? The Rebbe gave him an explanation. Rebbe's explanation is a two-liner or one-liner, but this brings out what Shabbos is all about. The Rebbe explained them like this: Shabbos is a day that we all get uplifted, that Am Yisrael, the world, reaches a greater level. This is what Shabbos is. Ba Shabbat, Ba Menucha means the world is resting. Chassidus explains as the world reaches back to a height, to a great level. So this is why even the food we eat on Shabbos is a mitzvah. Whatever we do on Shabbos is a mitzvah, because Shabbos brings the world to a greater, higher spiritual level. Says the Rebbe, Shabbos is a day that the world gets uplifted. So when we do a Farbrengen on Shabbos, by a Farbrengen we do on Shabbos, the Rebbe said, I uplift the crowd, I uplift the Hasidim, and the Hasidim uplift me, or lift me up. And together we get lifted up together. How do we do it? Because it's Shabbos. And this is why if I bring the Shabbos, because Shabbos, and specifically on Shabbos, I can lift him up to a greater level, and the Hasidim lift me up to a greater level. And this is why the Rebbe says, I bring on Shabbos. Just one point, the greatness of Shabbos. We all get uplifted. Let's appreciate the day. Let's enjoy the day. And let's feel the great day. Have yourself a great Shabbos.